Buonasera a tutti, good evening ladies and gentlemen, and it's a pleasure to be here in Amsterdam, bringing you to the BLUE MED FAB project, latest developments as well as its future plans for the forthcoming FAB establishment. The BLUE MED FAB initiative might seem just one out of 9 ongoing FAB programs. BLUE MED, in terms of local constraints and heterogeneity in a local future to be harmonized, is maybe the most complex FAB initiative, having on board also non-EU countries with no FAB obligations at all. So we can see the creation of the FAB is a fundamental element of the single European sky, and the European sky requires to all the states, European states, to comply with the FAB regulations, the FAB regulation at the latest by the 4th of December 2012. The European regulation also requires that the member states foster the extension of the single European sky to the neighboring countries which are not members of the European Union, as BLUE MED is performing, also in the context of the FAB agreements. Here you can see the BLUE MED area represented in this slide, and the Mediterranean area concerned. We can see that it comprises 4 EU member states, which are Cyprus, Greece, Italy, and Malta. And after we have 3 non-EU associated partners, as Egypt, Tunisia, and Albania, that these 3 partners are obliged to follow all the activities of the BLUE MED FAB project. Continuing, we have also on board, as we said before, Lebanon and the Kingdom of Jordan as observers. The condition of observers within the project expect that they participate only to the activities where they decide to take part, to comply. Considering the area, considering the new institute of the functional space block, we have with this initiative an unique opportunity of harmonizing the air traffic management and CNS over the Mediterranean space, and to extend the single European sky to the North Africa and the Middle East, important areas with a great impact also on the European activities. Where is now the BLUE MED project? At the moment, the BLUE MED project is within the definition phase that is ongoing, and that will be completed in the end of 2011, specifically the September 2011. And in this phase, the definition phase, we are agreeing a roadmap that we will translate in an BLUE MED FAB an implementation plan for the future, and we are defining specific operational and technical benefits, and at the end of this definition phase we expect the signature from the member states of the BLUE MED FAB state level agreement. Building the single European sky, we can say that within our project, the BLUE MED FAB project, more than 150 people are currently busy in supporting the FAB definition, and we have received also during the feasibility study, and now within the definition phase, we have received an important support by TNT with the funding, very important to support our activities, and we are receiving also an important and very significant support from Eurocontrol that is providing to the project, to the activity of the project, many experts to support this project and to develop through BLUE MED FAB also changes in the European network, harmonized changes within the European network. BLUE MED FAB has identified specifically within the project at the beginning a gradual and a stepped approach aimed at assuring the BLUE MED FAB implementation, allowing all the stakeholders to contribute to realize this plan. The BLUE MED FAB is aiming to provide a to harmonize all different national decisions with the picture of the FAB to be included in a roadmap for the evolution of the initiative and for the evolution for the future of the functional space block through the BLUE MED FAB implementation plan, as said before. We have to consider that at the moment the particular political and economical situation of the BLUE MED FAB project states is requiring additional efforts, and we have also additional problems to resolve within our project, but the work is continuing normally, and we are very happy to verify the participation of states as Egypt and Jordan to our activities, also Tunisia. Within our project, we have highlighted the requirement of our parallel participation and coordination to the efforts performed within SESAR. Here we have on this slide a current project focus on the current activity of the BLUE MED FAB project, where we have four very important deliverables ahead of us, which are the BLUE MED FAB implementation plan, the BLUE MED FAB state level agreement, as referred before, the BLUE MED FAB ANSPS agreement, and the BLUE MED FAB NSA agreement. Considering the results of the definition phase in fall 2011, the states will decide if to progress with the signature of the FAB agreements and the implementation of the BLUE MED FAB, which should be concluded before 4th of December 2012 in accordance with the EU legislation. But this one was just a picture of our institutional activity. We are working to develop reduction of costs surely within our FAB, and to produce an effort particularly at the technical and the operational level. And we have already reached some quick wins during our activity. Particularly we can give evidence to the nautical miles saved through our route network catalog shared with among the partners of the BLUE MED FAB that reports for the 2012 versus 2010 a reduction since now of 1.26 nautical miles average for flight, and we have experienced during our recent real time of the free route within the Malta airspace that we can obtain with the free route applied within the Malta airspace, and we can say free route like anyway, not free route absolutely, about 26 nautical miles of saving for every flight. About the respect of the requested flight level, also during with this real time of the free route applied within the BLUE MED, the Malta airspace, we have verified a profile efficiency that more of about the 81% is normal, very high level. And we have also verified that the perceived workload of the planner working in position with the executive, we have a reduction for the planner of about the workload of about 12%. After this, I leave the floor to Mr. Cristiano Cantoni, that is the project manager of the BLUE MED FAB project, about our project governance and details about the work package activities. Thank you for your attention.
Good afternoon again from my side, ladies and gentlemen. The idea now is to go a bit deeper into the detailed project activities, allowing you to have not only the flavor but the practical results that so far we have been able to achieve in the different working areas within the BLUE MED. And of course we are starting from the very end. This is the governance structure of the ongoing project activity. As you can see, since a FAB is supposed to be a state-owned activity, within our governing body, the highest level body, which is depicted here in this slide, you will be able to recognize the different representatives of the states, both of the 4 EU members, of the 3 non-EU members, associated partners, and of the observers as well. These people is meeting regularly within the project life cycle, and is of course delivering the high-level strategy and the high-level policy that we are supposed to comply with. But the project at technical level is practically run by the 3 main bodies that you see in the middle of the slide: the NSA committee, the military coordination group, and the ANSP strategic board. These are the bodies that are really running the project in terms of results coming from the service provision, allowing the results to be compliant to the overall regulatory framework, and compliant also with the military requirements, which are a relevant stakeholder as far as a FAB is concerned. There are specific consultation bodies, but the real heart of the project are the working packages. Here, technicians, operational people, people coming from the service provision, from the national supervising authorities are meeting pretty often in order to deploy the plan that we share with the European Commission as well. And you are going to have a clear idea of this with a specific focus on the operational initiatives. In detail, these are the 8 activities that we have developed so far, with the project management task which is transversal throughout the project. We have also managed to build up specific task forces where we recognize that specific focus was required. Let's start from the very beginning. Since the FAB are supposed to be operational driven, let's examine the results coming from the operational studies. And let's start from the concept. We decided to build up an agreed and shared concept of operation. The concept of operation is of course the cornerstone of every activity that wants to seriously tackle real operational problems in a pretty complex area like the one over the Mediterranean. We decided to go deeper into the concept, defining a detailed concept of operation, which is really identifying the roles and responsibilities among all the participating countries in order to manage efficiently the operations of the FAB. In addition to this, since our activity, let me mention it once again, is funded by the European Commission, we ensure the Commission itself to profit of specific deliverables from our initiative. And within these deliverables, you will be able to find the practical results that we have been able to gather. Let's start from what we identified for our FAB implementation scenario for the 2012. Within this scenario, we developed specific what we called organizations. Organization 0, 1 and 2 are depicted over there. We started from very basic activities with an assessment of the actual operational situation and the existing bottlenecks. What could happen if we implement within the actual situation brand new operational procedures for the areas like the 5 nautical miles separation deployed throughout the BLUE MED FAB? Or let's inject an additional activity related to the network, new route network proposals throughout the 9 countries of the BLUE MED, and let's see what is going to happen in terms of benefits that we can provide to the airspace users. All this has been gathered in a specific delivery that has been submitted successfully to the European Commission, and we managed to develop 2 catalogs. The first one is related to the normal route network activity, and another one is grouping some 9 direct route proposals that, of course, and some of those, as you will see, has already been implemented and are already delivering benefits to the airspace users. And let me mention again one of the major achievements blessed by the CEOs of the NSPs involved, the Flight Efficiency Plan for the FAB. This is going to be a unique document that is going to comprise all the different proposals that we have been able to gather so far, and is of course providing clear evidence to the airspace users of the effort that this FAB is developing. This is an example of the catalog. This is one of the hundreds of proposals that we have been able to consider. There is a clear understanding of the single proposal in terms of savings from the distance that we have been able to save, the time that we have been able to save, the fuel saving, and the reduction in the emission that we are able to provide to the overall ATM community. This specific layout has been considered within Eurocontrol a best practice within the RNDSG, and of course they took the opportunity to deploy the same layout in one of their documents. And of course, as you might consider, it's a pity for the initiative, because if we had thought to register the copyright, maybe we would have got some money from this initiative. But anyway, this is another screenshot of the overall proposal for the 9 DCTs. Part of this has already been implemented, and this is going to be deployed, as you can see, throughout the FAB. The Flight Efficiency Plan is of course a well-known document that has specific requirements developed in compliance with some Council requirements, IATA and Eurocontrol requirements. But despite of this, we decided to develop a flight efficiency plan focused on the design on the en route, on the airspace and network availability, and the ATCOS awareness as regards flight efficiency. These are to us the most relevant elements that would have been considered within this flight efficiency plan. And this is of course an overall picture which is really reporting the overall benefits from the flight efficiency perspective. This is comparing our 2012 scenario with the overall 2010 picture, and of course, as you can see from the figures over there, the benefits that you are offering, if we translate those benefits in euros, especially now that we have a specific oil crisis which is ongoing, the figures that we get are relevant from the airspace user's perspective. Let's be back to the deliveries that we planned. We decided to update the operational scenario that we planned for 2012, improving this scenario with specific interventions agreed by the BLUE MED partners. Part of these interventions are, for instance, the free route application throughout the BLUE MED airspace in specific hours of the day, and as you can see, there is a specific agreement to start, in some cases by 2012, in other cases by 2015, implementing the free route operations throughout the area. And we proceed in tackling one of the major operational bottlenecks of the BLUE MED area, trying to resolve the pretty famous Southeast axis, proceeding to an extensive reshuffling of the airspace over the area of Cyprus. Putting forward a specific fast time simulation, which have received the acceptance from the authorities of Cyprus, that will be further refined in a real-time simulation environment within the BLUE MED framework as well. And last but not least, we proceeded to a specific real-time simulation in order to prove the benefits that were envisaged at the model-based simulation level. We tackled a real-time simulation over the area of Malta. As you can see, the airspace simulated has been customized for the sake of the simulation itself. The temporary segregated area that you can see over there is completely built for simulation purposes only. And we can anticipate, since the report is almost out, that the benefits over there, as you have seen from the figures of Mr. Torre previously, are strongly encouraging the Maltese authorities to implement this kind of scenario before than the deadline of 2012 is expected. And this is really going to happen this year. What is missing, and what we are going to provide to the European Commission soon, is a document that is going to recap the overall benefits that we have been able to gather from the operational perspective. And this is coming before summer, since before summer we are supposed, as you will see later on, to provide to our decision makers all the evidences of the implementation of our FAB in order to get the green light from the member states. Again, focusing on an improvement of the activities that we have identified previously, we are proceeding into completing a second issue of gap analysis. This gap analysis will allow us to develop our FAB implementation plan for both the 2012 FAB establishment deadline and for what we call our mature phase of our FAB, which is our 2015 scenario. This scenario, of course, is the one which is going to provide the highest number of benefits from the performance framework perspective. And let me mention again one of the major arrangements that we have been able to take. We have built up a specific ATFCM task force, which is a brand new activity for most of the countries. Let me mention once again that we have on board the countries, no new countries that were not used to handle specific arrangement within their operations. The catalog that you have seen previously has been recently updated. The number of proposals strongly increased from 150 up to 230, and of course there is a different balance in the implementation of the above-mentioned proposals. And as you can see, some of those proposals has also been deleted. Again, we have Eurocontrol on board with us. Eurocontrol is allowing us to evaluate the single proposals that we want to put forward for implementation. And somehow with Eurocontrol we have evaluated that in proposals that was supposed to bring relevant results in practical terms and verify traffic with specific simulation tools, we verified that the added value was not that much high. And in this case we decided to delete these proposals in order to re-identify, of course, the main flows over the area and build up additional proposals. The ATFCM activities, again, has allowed the BLUE MED partners to develop a specific daily report for the ATFCM. These can be downloaded from our website upon request, and you can have this kind of daily reports. This is providing you a clear feeling of which is the ATFCM situation on a daily basis throughout the BLUE MED FAB in all of the 8 BLUE MED ATCs, considering the presence of the EU countries only, and this process is going to be extended.
Your attention please, the exhibition will be closing in 5 minutes.
And this process
the ATC Global networking drinks reception will be starting at 5:30 in the Holland restaurant. All delegates, visitors and exhibitors are welcome to attend.
Thank you very much.
Exhibitors are reminded that power to stands will be going off at 6:30. Thank you.
These are the, of course, the statistics are considered for the major BLUE MED ACCs, and we have been enlarged to cover all the countries involved in the BLUE MED area. Again, let me mention quickly the strategic report. We want to ensure that we are able to take the ATFCM perspective throughout the BLUE MED FAB, also building up a strategic report which is shared and which will allow all the participating countries to have a clear idea of the strategic interventions that every country is going to take on. Let's go directly to take the enablers of the operational improvement that you have been looking at so far. Our aim over there was to build up a shared technical interoperability perspective throughout the BLUE MED countries, and we started defining which was the time frame we wanted to focus. We decided to focus on a sort of short-term scenario up to 2015, where almost all the national plans are depicted within the local single sky implementation plans, and we wanted to build up an extensive activity of synchronization of these plans. But we wanted, of course, to take some steps also beyond that date in order to ensure BLUE MED aligned with the future SESAR deliveries, because BLUE MED would like to feel itself as a candidate for the future deployments of the SESAR achievements, one of the major platforms for SESAR. To this respect, we have built up what we call the BLUE MED Single Sky Implementation Roadmap. This over there is really a collection of the national single sky implementation plans which are going to be every year more and more harmonized, up to achieving a single document for all the countries of the FAB, a single plan for implementation throughout the FAB, and of course, hopefully, shortly, a single investment plan for the FAB countries. In order to build up this, we developed specific activities related to the surveillance picture, in order to verify how operational procedures, specific operational procedures could have been enabled. We built up a specific activity which involved all the major surveillance areas of the FABs, and we depicted which is the coverage throughout the FAB. And we have nice news over there, because the operational procedures which was supposed to be supported from the operational perspective can be pretty easily supported by the FAB, but taking into consideration that not only primary and secondary coverage will be available throughout the FAB, but also ADSB and MODES plans will be available throughout the initiative. Last but not least, again, BLUE MED is a candidate for being one of the SESAR future deployment playgrounds. In this respect, we try to approach as well the SESAR JU in order to build up a specific workshop, because we would like to share our achievement and our plans with the JU in order to ensure that their achievements will be widely deployed throughout the area. As far as safety and security are concerned, our major aim here was to develop a common SMS roadmap. Building up a common safety management system throughout the BLUE MED area would have allowed us to automatically harmonize all our safety management procedures. And of course, this is going to be for the benefits of all the safety departments, because they will be able to share procedures, but they will be able also to share manpower as soon as they will have to build up specific safety assessments throughout the FAB. We have developed, with the help of Eurocontrol, a specific maturity analysis, which is especially for the benefits of the non-EU countries. They have been able to measure the gap, and now with them, side by side, we are going to develop specific activities in order to allow them to fill the gap, which in some cases is pretty relevant. From the security perspective, as you can imagine, the security is treated very differently throughout the FAB. Especially the security culture is not deployed homogeneously throughout the FAB. To this respect, the major achievement over there has been to build up a specific management handbook for security. This management handbook is going to be a real guideline for all the security experts that would like to achieve the level which is required by the EU regulation and the new ISO standards. As far as the economic assessment is concerned, you are aware that this is a binding clause for the FAB establishment. We are going to develop a cost-benefit analysis, we are going to be supported by an external contractor, and we are going to develop a study, a specific study on the different charging configurations that we can consider for our area. This study, of course, is going to be to use as a starting point the activity already performed during the feasibility study. Our legal experts are currently engaged in developing the state-level agreement, the agreement that the states, hopefully by the end of the year, are going to sign for the FAB establishment. And within this agreement, you will be able to find how the states has been able to tackle specific issues which are sensitive for our FAB, like the high seas, the governance structure, or specific liability clauses which has not been tackled so far. The human resources perspective is relevant as well, because we want to ensure that what we are planning at technical and operational level is highly involving the people which are working, both ATCOs and ATCEPs, and we want to ensure that we have tackled the specific training measures for our experts that we have to deploy our FAB in order to ensure that they will be able to cover the new interventions that the FAB establishment is asking for. To this respect, WP6 is now going to analyze the changes that the FAB is bringing, and WP6 is also going to develop a specific training plan that will be applied throughout the FABs. This work package activity can be considered as a spin-off for BLUE MED, because it is an activity dealing with a specific request we received from the ICAO CAEP working group number 2. This group developed a specific methodology for the environmental impact assessment, and we were asked to be used as a test case for validating this methodology. The validation is ongoing. Again, we have a relevant support of Eurocontrol in this activity, And we, of course, will reuse the operational scenarios that you have seen previously in order to validate this methodology. Last but not least, the last package of BLUE MED is maybe one of the most relevant because it is going to integrate all the contents of the different achievements from the various packages and is going to deliver what we called previously the single sky implementation roadmap. This roadmap is going to be handled by the CEOs of the ANSPs and is going to represent really the harmonization in the implementation plan throughout the FABs. And of course, this package is also dealing with what we are doing today, for instance, disseminating what we are doing, disseminating our achievements, and be able to gather also your feedback, your concern, your recommendation in order to ensure that the BLUE MED FAB, as soon as it will be established, will be an initiative which has been developed with the widest possible consensus. So thank you very much for the time being. Of course, the floor is open to any question that you would like to put forward. Thank you very much. Question from the floor? Okay. It's late and everybody will let you know. Thank you.